What's up, everyone? Welcome to another episode of 2 a.m. in Sweden, aka for some of y'all, you might know it as We Got Next. I am one of your hosts of the show, Hayes, aka Shifty, holding it down this week. Um, you get me 2 weeks back to back, so welcome. Get used to it. Sit back, relax. The homie, Steven at Steven underscore Springs. You'll see him again soon. Don't worry. We'll get the whole gang back together real soon. But we have a lot of stuff that we're going to talk about. So today's episode is going to be a blend of various different topics. Of course, we're going to touch on Kalen Clark. We're going to touch on Christian McCaffrey as well. And then when we go to the finance side, we are going to cover some stocks that have been out there that have been going off. And then we're also going to walk through a process of what I do in order to look for different cryptocurrencies and kind of some things that I've done recently. I did end up purchasing another phone for anybody out there that has wondered about that. And so we'll talk about that, walk through that, some people that I do follow, and a cool feature that I saw on X that I don't think a lot of people actually know about. I'm not sure if anyone has access to it or if it's only certain people that have access to it. And then, of course, we'll go into the NBA and the WNBA. And so to start with Caitlin Clark, that's kind of the topic a lot of people love to talk about. Caitlin Clark was not put on the women's Olympic team. I You have to look at it from two different angles. So if you're looking at it from the angle of we are looking for the best WNBA players, okay, I get it. To leave her off because once she's a rookie, there are numerous players that are out there. Of course, the two that people are going to say, how are they on there? And personally, me as well was looking at it saying, how could they do this? You have Brittany Griner, and then you also have Diana Taurasi. So we're just going to start there so we can kind of just walk through everything because not everyone necessarily is a WNBA fan. Probably a lot of you all pay attention to specific teams or specific players. Just to say everything, the Phoenix Mercury are 6-6. They're not even the best team this year. They're doing better this year than they have in previous years, but they are not the best team. And for you to have both of them, it's a little bit of a surprise. Of course, Asia Wilson's on there, Kelsey Plum is on there, but what I do want to end up bringing up, sorry, a video of your boy Steph Curry crying kind of came up. Women's Olympic team. I think that should end up pulling it up. If it doesn't, cool. So the players are Asia Wilson, Brianna Stewart, Sabrina Ionescu, Kelsey Plum, Brittany Griner, Jewel Lloyd, Diana Taurasi, Chelsea Gray, Nafisha Collier, Alyssa Thomas, Jackie Young, and Kalia Copper, sorry. The Mercury had 3 players, and their team is only 6-6. That's the first thing I want you guys to pay attention to. There's 1 player from the Lynx, there's 1 player from the Sun. The Lynx are 8-3, the Sun are 10-1. Cool, that's fine. The surprising team, actually the Aces. The Aces are 5-4 this year, which is insane because they won last year and they have had a solid team. Connecticut Sun are number 1, they have players. New York Liberty, number 2, they have players. Minnesota Lynx, number 3, they only have 1 player. Seattle Storm, number 4, they have 1 player. The Aces are 5th, they have 3 players. The Mercury are 6th, they have 3 players. The Dream and the Sky, 7 and 8, none. Essentially, this team is 3 players from the Aces, 3 players from the Liberty, 3 players from the Mercury, and then 3 separate. The only thing you could say is your top 6 teams are the ones that have players. Because if you would have gone for the Dream, the Sky, the Sparks, the Wings, any of those teams, you would have had a bigger argument if we are talking strictly basketball play. If we are talking about more than basketball play, then we have to end up bringing up more of a conversation with all of this. So the first thing that I will end up saying is if we are trying to grow the game, yes, you need to have Caitlin Clark there. Put her in the game for 2 minutes. I'm sure that'd be fine. You're growing the game and expanding the game more. People are going to watch it, and you will get the name out there of other players. You had Anthony Davis on the team for the men's Olympic team. So I think that you all should have been able to end up having Caitlin Clark if we're looking at it from growing the brand. And of course, you have the whole naysayers and all the different people saying, well, this is the reason why we didn't put her on the team because we were worried about her fans. That's not what this is about. So you're telling me the fans are running your operations? No. If they would have came out and said we were elected to choose the 12 best players in the WNBA and this is what we came up with, cool. I would have stood by it, call it that, let Diana Taurasi get her last one right off in the sunset because she has led this league for a long time. Brittany Griner, I don't know. That's a questionable one. She used to be good. But that's my 2 cents on it. There are players that people do know, but everyone knows who Caitlin Clark is. So in order to grow it, you should have had her on there. If we're looking at it again, if we're looking at it from a perspective of the best players, you're fine. I don't have any arguments. You're looking at the players. If anything, personally, I would say get rid of one or two of the Phoenix Mercury players and put another Connecticut Sun or even a Minnesota Lynx player on there. That's what we're doing it for because they're going to have some of the better players that are out there. And this is just going off of this year. If we want to go off of years past, we can even go off of 2023. How about that? Looking at 2023, Phoenix Mercury were 9-31. Yes, they have made a difference so far. And what I was looking at was as of current, Aces are fine. The Liberty are fine. Connecticut Sun, again, I say needs to have at least another player or two. The Minnesota Lynx, I would say needs to have another player or two. If we are looking at it from the best players out there, that's the way we should end up looking at all of this. People will have their thoughts, but that's my 2 cents. The other one that I want to talk about is Mr. Christian McCaffrey for 2 reasons. So Christian McCaffrey is now on the cover of Madden 25. Oh, I definitely spelled that terribly wrong. Just started free flowing with the letters. But he is on the cover of Madden 25. Shout out to him. They've done a lot of quarterbacks. So getting Christian McCaffrey on there, well deserved. He also just became, again, reset in the market per se, the highest paid running back because they extended that contract and added more money for it. So congrats to CMC. He's the best running back. There is no, oh, who is in the conversation with him. It's just Christian. And again, I said it before and I'll say it again. If the 49ers would have won the Super Bowl, Christian McCaffrey would have deserved to be the MVP of the Super Bowl. Point blank, period. So congratulations to Christian McCaffrey. I think that that's well deserved from him. And you can't really say anything else. He's been doing it. So congrats on that side. Now I want to segue some of this into two things. One, the first one is rolling with Hayes, I would say has taken a break for a second. I've been focusing on figuring out different ways to enhance the 2 a.m. in Sweden, aka We Got Next podcast. And we will be getting back to rolling with Hayes. It's something that you might end up seeing another episode this week, just giving more of my thoughts. I want to do more research before I just start to throw out more content to you guys, just willy-nilly. Probably will do one around the NBA draft. Going to do one, of course, when the finals is over, just give my overall thoughts. Looking at expectations going into different free agency signings that are going to happen. Fantasy football, you will get a lot. In terms of crypto, we will start to get back into that. I will start to explain more of my portfolio going forward. Now, the exciting part that I did want to talk to you all about is I want to just walk through a lot of the different people in the cryptocurrency space that I like to look at, understand what they're doing, just look through some of their tweets. So today we're going to go over 9 people. First one is Crash. So I'm going to say all the names that you all can end up seeing it. And you know what, matter of fact, no, that's probably too much. Um, the first one is Crash. So Crash is Clay 69. And reason why I end up looking at what he does is Brett. So Brett has been the main one that he's talked about since forever. I have a uncomfortable size position in Brett. Um, he has a way bigger position than I definitely have, but yeah. So at one point, it was like $5 million worth. It's insane to have all of that in one position, but homie's a baller for a reason. Um, the other ones that he does talk about are, of course, Brett. He talks about Pepe, Bobo, Punky, and what's this one? Damn, I'm going too fast. And Redo, I guess, Redo. But Brett is his big position. Second is Bobo, then Pepe, then Punky. And main things you are just seeing is a lot of Brett. So he just did a leverage trade on ETH at 34.70. And if we look at the price of, let's see, what is the price of ETH currently? ETH is 35.03, so you got it at a decent position. I personally might even try and like do something similar to him, just play around $500 or so. But he has an ETH leverage trade that's out there. Of course, the other thing he talks about is Brett. So Brett's been the big one. He does say Brett is going to flip with. That's something else that he just continues to talk about. And just kind of seeing that, that's one thing. The other one, and this was on June 10th, aka yesterday, he says, soon enough, you'll understand why it's Bobo Billions. Anyone who saw this but didn't buy before a billion should be banned from crypto for life for their own good because they are too incompetent to ever make money or have good judgment. And looking at, let's see if I can pull this up for you guys. We're going to look at Bobo as to what the market cap currently is. And then I'll also do Brett for you too. But Bobo is at 100. Let's see if I can bring this back out. Yeah, Bobo's currently at $172 million market cap. And if they say it's going to go to a billion, that's just a little over a 5x, which is not bad at all. Some people say that Bobo and Pepe have to fight it out for like the whole bear market thing. I don't look, listen, just pump my bags. That's all y'all can do. I don't really care about that whole argument. Other one was Brett. So that's at a $1.5 billion market cap. Again, I said I have a huge position in Brett. At one point, it almost touched 2 billion, but that's something that is going to definitely take time. Let's keep going down. So Punky and Bobo leading the port today. My next $10 million USD position. He's saying, of course, so Bobo would be a 5x for him. Punky would be a little more than that. Um, yeah, so Brett's the main one that he talks about. You see him talk about Brett all the time. Last tweet from him, there are plenty of haters actively shorting Brett, which is actually giving it rocket fuel to blast higher. The path to 40 plus billion is clear. The road to 80 plus billion is now inevitable. If you go to 40, I am fine. I don't care about anything else. Listen, just go to 40 and you'll see a happy camper out of me. You won't hear nothing from me. I can assure you of that. The next one that we will end up bringing up is Cool Crypto. And so Cool Crypto, I've gotten into seeing what he talks about. He did, where is it? He's done a lot of giveaways recently. But he's in this sloth project, which is one that he's talked about, and there will be different airdrops coming from that one. Another one, yeah, they did like Welsh airdrops and all that stuff. He talked about ZK Sync. That was another one he mentioned. Oh, so the phone. Here it is. So the ton phone, and there's going to be airdrops. He ordered 5. I just got 1. I was not going that far. I might get another one maybe tomorrow or so. Okay, cool. So that's something I guess I need. Damn, that's a lot of people. Another Celestia founder. So yeah, founders and builders rocking a picture of a sloth, which is something I need to focus on. So Nick White at Celestia, Jelena at Noble, JP at Mantra, Cooper at Movement, main accounts at the Roll Up, Jordan at Li-Fi/Jumper. I guess I gotta look into that. Fazla at Hyperlane, bonus other founders teams that have or support sloths, Mustafa at Celestia, Zaki at Somalia, Rushi, I think that's another one I probably want to look at. That's Somalia project. Rushi at Movement Labs, Andy at the Roll Up, Lava Network, Mitosis, Caldera. Be lazy, don't fade the sloths. That's the main thing that he says. And slots are on Celestia, so that's something that I will want to look up this weekend to kind of just probably park some money over there. I do have some sideline capital that I want to work around some things just to see how I can end up getting involved in that one. So that's the main thing with Cool Crypto. He talks about ton a lot and then sloths. I think that it. I think that was mainly, yeah, he's a big sloth gang that he talks about. ZK airdrop, I know I didn't get anything, so there's no point in me even looking at that. And yeah, so just scrolling back, that's essentially the main one that he will talk about. Of course, Wormhole, just staking Nomad is something else that you should look into. Next one we're going to go to is Leverage Labs. So 618 Leverage Labs is one I listen to every single day. They normally do their shows at least Monday through Friday at 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, 6 p.m. Central Time. And Mother is one that they've been charting. GME on Soul is another one that they've been charting. Looking through it. Yeah, Mother's just the main one. TJ, flipping it off to that one, is another one that I talk about or mention sometimes. TJ's big into analyzing the stock market. He also does do charting with various different cryptocurrencies. Of course, they were talking about BTC and potentially going down to 63, 64K. And then back in May, he was talking about DOT. Next one, of course, and he's more so for my top signal that I use him for, but Ansem. So Ansem has 441,000 followers. Ansem's is Black Noise 06. So BLK NOIZ 06. And basically he was talking about Mother. He talked about Pups. Pups went up, and then that joint ended up coming back down some. And yeah, so that's it on that one. So he's kind of just a top signal. Next one is Zoro, I think it is, or Zoro. Sorry, my bad, Zoro. All right, guess we are not going to be looking up Zaro. Oh, there he goes. Rim Zaro. So RIMZARO. He's been buying more injective. People are not paying attention to that one. He's saying so. It's currently, when he bought, was at 29.40. And the football trend people have been talking about was, of course, like Messi, Foden, CR7, Cristiano Ronaldo, Argentina, Portugal coin, Kylian Mbappe, and Belgium were the main ones over there. That was back in May. Some people, of course, WIF was at 405 at one point, and it basically almost it's damn near close to a 50% pullback, which is huge. Just big for rocket fuel because it touched 491 and now it's currently around like 240. If we're going off of that math, that's a 50% pullback, which if you can then go back to from 240 to $5, that's a 2x right there. And I don't think most people are going to be mad about that if you end up getting it. Next one that we'll look into is Achilles, or maybe is it Arch? Well, maybe another day we'll look into because this is definitely isn't coming up. We're not going to waste time. Another one is Alfie. I know. All right, I guess we're just all not going to pop up today, but I know on my phone it'll end up coming up. Why? Because we have the post notifications on for them, and that's something I would recommend to a lot of people to put post notifications on for these people. Okay, guess we are just not going to be popping up at all for me, are we? Nope, we are not. Give me, nope, we're not going to do that. Last one, this one should come up then. Seameister, thank you. So his is maybe underscore Seameister, Cmeister. And there's not really anything he's talking about. I see a couple mother posts, that's it. Talking about Bitcoin, and then WIF, and then Mitchie, and then TDT are the main ones, but nothing else over there. So, final thing here, I just want to mention is RWA, so real world assets. Two of them would be Ondo, so ONDO, and then Chex, CHEX. Those are ones that I think a lot of people should end up putting some time and focus into. And kind of going off of, I brought up Ondo and, of course, real world assets. And I want to touch on some things in TradFi or traditional markets. The first one, of course, is the big baby itself. What the fudge just happened? Okay, there we go. NVIDIA. So NVIDIA did their 10-to-1 stock split, and now it's currently sitting at $120. After hours, it's at 121. Market cap is close to closing in on $3 trillion, which is major. If you even just look at what it was. So before the stock split, let's call it that way, it was at 1208, which it's around the same price right now. So it was at 1208, and holy shoot, 500. So that's a 2x since December. In December, it was 480. If we even do year to date, we're going to go back. Now let's do a year. It was at 426 July 2023, and then it ran up to 1224. You're looking at basically a 3x. If you even do from the beginning of COVID, okay, if we're talking these prices, beginning of COVID, it was at $70. You got a 10x. If you held, that's not a normal thing. But if you held NVIDIA since February 28th, 2020, which is okay, a little bit before COVID, let's move it into right after the drop of COVID, $65. You still got a 10x out of NVIDIA and holding it for 4 years. That's all you did. Held it for 4 years, got a 10x. That's 1,000% gain. Nobody's ever going to complain about that. If you even got in 2022, you got, well, sorry, you got a 11 to 12x. Honestly, out of that, even more than that. So we're looking at 12 to 15x if you got in on the lower side. Because you had 12. My bad. You actually got an 18x. So that's absolutely nothing to complain about. Even if you got in November, you did good. Yeah, mm, even a year ago, you were able to get like a 3 to 4x. Now we're at a $3 trillion market cap, which I don't really know what to tell you guys. I'm not getting in, but if you all want to get in, be my guest. The one that I will continue to recommend to people to get into and focus on is CLSK. That one is Clean Spark. It has a $3.63 billion market cap, and that's one of the mining tokens. So that's kind of my bit that I want to talk about today for the cryptocurrency side. On the NBA side, the Boston Celtics are winning 2-0. The main person for that is definitely Kristaps Porzingis and his height, but also Jaylen Brown has been playing well too. Kristaps Porzingis does have a lower leg injury that some people are wondering how the hell is he still playing. I personally don't know, but he still is playing. So congrats to him. At this rate, it does look like they're gonna win. Boston Celtics. They're up 2-0, and that was in Boston. The Mavericks need to win both of these for it to just be a wash, and then we can go back to best of three. I believe they can at least win one, and what's gonna suck is they're then just gonna be in Boston for the championship. But Dallas needs game three. That's a must win. There's no way around that one. I'm I'm a betting man. Y'all know that. So I probably will end up betting on it because they need to get a win that game. I don't even know. What are the odds for that? Because if the odds makers are smart, you would definitely have it. I would say like plus 110 for them. What does it look like? Okay, I thought so. Yeah, minus 142 for the Mavericks. You're going to have it that way because everyone knows the Mavericks need a win. And then WNBA wise, we covered that earlier. The next one I want to just bring up is the MLB. In the American League, the two top, the two top teams are the New York Yankees and the Baltimore Orioles. Very similar to last year, except the Orioles are number one. Again, it's super early because there's a bajillion games in the MLB. If we look at what it was last year, Baltimore Orioles are number one, Tampa Bay Rays are number two, Toronto Blue Jays are number three. Right now, the Yankees are number one. In the National League, it's just a of a surprise, but not really. No, two top teams are Philadelphia Phillies and then the Los Angeles Dodgers. Dodgers have a stud team, so I don't know why they don't have more wins than what they do, but the Phillies are 46-20. They've been on fire. Like nobody's with them on the National League, but the Yankees do have the best record in the league. So again, that's early. Some teams have only played 69 games. Some have played 66 games, under 70 games. And you can kind of just look at it. If we look at last year, just for round numbers, they play 162 games. They have a lot of games left. Summer's just starting, so you can't even give this any type of stock into it. Oakland Athletics is still at the bottom, 26-42. They're winning more. They're winning. They have 26 wins, which congratulations. They only won 50 last year, and you won that many games already this year. So snaps for them. Final stuff that I will end up bringing up is fantasy football. So fantasy football is around the corner. This is one that, of course, a lot of people, especially in my circle, like to listen to, talk about, hear, understand, spend a lot of time on it. I've been bookmarking stuff. I am in one dynasty league right now. In a couple of 2 months, I will be rounding up the troops again for all the different leagues. We are currently at June 11th. A lot of these leagues will start to go live early September. Drafts will happen late August. It's going to be exciting times. It's going to be something that a lot of people are going to talk about. A lot of people are going to focus on. A lot of people are going to want to get involved in. And we got you here on 2 a.m. in Sweden because, watch one of my drafts be at 2 a.m. in Sweden. So that's the big thing that will continue to talk about cover. I won 2 last year. We're going for it again. That's the big thing that we'll end up talking about. I apologize to anybody that I end up disrespecting because of all the time and energy I will be spending focusing on these drafts. But yeah, man, that's it. We got through this episode. Y'all rolled with me the whole time. Appreciate that. Thank you. Valiant effort on all parties involved in all of this. Um, there's nothing else left to say, but we will catch y'all next week. 2 a.m. in Sweden. This is Hayes. You already know the deal. We out.